Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of Dumb and Not So Dumb Mobirise Questions. This is episode 6, and this question comes from one of the comments in one of the YouTube videos. Here's our YouTube channel, and this video here, we have a question from Terry saying, so does ColorM work on Mobirise 4.5.4? So let's make this smaller. Let's bring up what we're going to do. We are going to do this follow-up question. So does ColorM, which is a Mobirise version 3 theme, work on Mobirise 4.5.4? Are there any themes or extensions that should not be installed on Mobirise 4.5.x? That's a really good question, Terry. And to answer it, what I did was I created a site with a new user that didn't have all the paid extensions, but it did have the Mobirise all-in-one suite themes installed into it from a suite I purchased in March 2017. That all-in-one suite was pre-version 4 themes. I prepared folders. I'm going to walk you through how I did all this. So I prepared folders, and I created a site, and I made subfolders. So let's show you how I did it. So here is a folder from Dropbox, and what I did was on another computer, I was actually in my family room. I was playing around, and I logged myself in as Voyager 01, and I created a new site that was called this. This is the name of the new site, ColorM test site, user Voyager 01 and today's date. This is the correct way of naming a site. You should have in the name of the site, in the folder of the name of the site, you should have the name of the site. I called it test site. You should have the name of the theme that you're using, and you should have the user. Theoretically, the user is maybe you only have one user. I have several. And also in this name here, there should be the version that we're using, V4 or V3, because most of the problem that people are having comes from having a V3 site that's you're opening with V4. We'll talk about more of that later on. In any case, this was created on another site. I zipped it up, I uploaded it to Dropbox, and then I came to this workstation and I downloaded it as a zip file. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to extract all of this right here. I'll just put it right here. You can watch me do it. 90 items, 2.2 megs. It's a very small site. It's one page. So that's a lot. Okay, so let's see what happens. So when I come here, there it is. And you can see it says R1 cleaned, R1 exported, R1 raw. And the nomenclature that I like to use is I like to use R for version. You can do it however you want to do. But part of this video is showing you how you can use Mobirise version 3 themes within Mobirise version 4 framework. So let's see. I created a folder called R1 raw. I created a folder called R1 cleaned. I created a folder called R1 exported. Now I'm going to publish into this one called R1 clean, and I'm actually going to rename this because I want to make sure that it's version 4. So somewhere I want to know that it's version 4, so I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to publish to R1 raw, and then if and when I clean this Mobirise code, which you should always clean the code before you put it on a website because of all the Mobirise self-references. There's a lot of links in this that you'll see when I do it that you really want to have them converted over to your website so that if by chance you actually miss one, it'll be to you and not to them. So these are the things. When I publish it, I'm going to put it here. When I'm finished and I'm closing the session, I will export the site to here, which I've already done. So this has already actually been done. This is when I did it this morning at around 7 o'clock. I created the site on another computer using ColorM in V4.5.4, and I outputted it, and I created these pages, and I didn't really do anything other than to see, you know, can I actually create this? And so I'll show you. Here's the asset file. Now if I come up here and I look in the exported, then this is what you see in the export. A screenshot of the index page, your project.mobirise, and your assets folder, which has a ton of things in it, images here. Okay, so there's a little difference between what you see in the raw. If you look here in the raw has everything, has the assets, it has the images, and has everything else. So let's see if we can import this. That's what I want to do. At this point, I want to see if I can import it. So what I'm going to do, I'll just close these out. So I have created a site with a new user, Voyager 01, and then I prepared the folders, R1 raw, R1 cleaned, R1 exported, and I put it in this folder. These are my notes in my family room on a Vostro 200, which is a Windows 10 machine, and it was this morning at 7 o'clock. Then I opened the ColorM with Voyager 01, my user, and I using version 4.54, I created a simple site, I published it to a raw folder, and I exported it. Okay. In that machine, the folders are synchronized with my Dropbox. So when I came to the office, all I had to do was go to my Dropbox, go to this folder, and go here, and I basically downloaded a zip file. Okay, the zip file I just extracted, so we unzipped it. Now we're going to do the demo site, and we're going to talk about the demo folder protocol, creating an R2 folder with subfolders and publishing it to R2 raw and exporting it to R2 exported. So let's bring up Mobirise here. And if I click on the hamburger, you can see that my user is here. This is the right user. I have several users, so if another user did not have ColorM theme, which is a paid theme that came out with version 3. I'm not even sure you can buy version 3 all in one. I haven't seen it anywhere. But since I purchased 3 licenses or more back last March that all had these, I can still use them. And they'll be good for a year, because when you buy an add-on or a theme, the updates are good for a year. The tool itself is supposed to be good forever. So let's go to Themes and Extensions, and let's make sure that ColorM is installed. So ColorM is installed. Okay, that means remove. If we wanted to remove it, we can. Agency is installed. DirectM is installed. PurityM is installed. SpaceM is installed. And also Google Analytics is installed. Okay. And we know from looking at Mobirise, the free version versus a paid version that has code editor, there are more options when you have code editor installed. For example, in the free option without code editor, you only can use file.html, versus if you have code editor installed, you can add a lot more things, and you can make the pages .php instead of just .html. So this is, we know it's here, so we'll come back, and what we'll do now is we will go to sites, and we'll see, I haven't done this before, so I'm hoping it works. We're going to go to import. We're going to try to import a site. Now, most people think that ColorM, because it was created for version 3, you can't use it with version 4, but I think you can. The key is, and this is absolutely crucial, if you create a site with version 4, you do not want to open that site with Mobirise 3. So like the most stable Mobirise version 3 is Mobirise version 3.12.1. So if I create the site with version 4, if I try to open it with version 3, I will cause damage to folder files, so I don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on import, and then we're going to go to the site, and here's where I put it, and here's the zip file from my Dropbox, and here's the one we just extracted, and here is the extraction, and here is the exported. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, this guy's nuts because look at all this organization that he has. But consider this. We have the name of the file that says the theme, right? And it should say here, it should say, I should put a v4.5.4, and I should add that. It should say ColorM with v4.5.4, then the name of the site, which is test site, then the name of the user, and then the date. And that's pretty long, so you want to be careful. Maybe we could shorten it up somehow, but I'm going to go with that. So then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, we're going to keep the raw files here. If we clean them, we're going to put them here. And when you run the cleaning program, Mobi-Clean is what we recommend. By Steve Riches, what you would do is you would import all these files from here, and they would be cleaned, and then they would be outputted to the clean folder. And they'd all be outputted, not just some of them, the whole kit and caboodle. So we're going to go to export, and then we're going to say, here's the project file, and this is what we're going to open. And now we're just going to wait, and we're going to let it work. And don't be clicking anything, and don't be fiddling with anything, because it will confuse the computer. And don't turn your computer off or unplug it while Mobirise is engaged, because it's coming from the hard drive and it will cause things to become corrupted. And this is the site. This is exactly the same site as we had before. And somebody's probably saying, well, prove it. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll pause the computer. Okay, so we're back. All we did was try to find where this program is. Microsoft Picture 7.0. And what we're going to do is we're going to go find out where it is, and we're going to look at it. So we went to Drive L, where we downloaded it and unzipped it, and it's in this one right here. And then if we go to here, and then we go to the exported, and we go to screenshot, and we open that screenshot, there it is. It's the same one. And it's just a screenshot, and it looks just like this. So that's cool. So that validates it. That's kind of cool. And this program right here that's called Picture It, this is super old for Microsoft. Very old. Does it have a copyright on it? 1997 to 2002. This is that old. This software is that old. But it's an oldie but a goodie. And I like it and I use it. I don't use it. I have other things too from Adobe, but I like that one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come here and we're going to go back to our notes, see if we can refresh what we're going to do. We're talking about writing over files. We should never write over files. We're up here, we're talking about doing a demo site, adding content, making a demo folder, talking about folder protocol. This is the folder protocol. Everything is important here, but this is super important. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna edit this site, then we're gonna save it, and we're gonna talk about it. So this is where you can really screw up your registry and everything else. You have to be really careful how you do this. So we are in the user Voyager 01, and we have ColorM. We could use another user if it had ColorM. It doesn't just have to be this user, but I am using it here. And what we're going to do is we're going to look here and we're going to say, well, gee, you know, this has a link and it's Mobirise. Okay, it is what it is. So what we of course could edit that, and we should, and we can look at it different ways. We'll go to Pages, and we'll go to page 3, and we'll come here. It says Pages, page 3, and we'll go click here, and now up here it says page 3. And what we'll do is we'll go back to Pages, and we'll go Home, and we'll come here. And did you notice there's no menu on the other pages? Like here, there's no menu. There's nothing. It's a blank page. And page 4 is a blank page as well. If we click here, About Us, and then click here, it's empty. So here's the way I like to do it. This is a little bonus for you. We'll go to Pages, we'll go to Home, and then we'll take this page, we'll bring this page, we'll click here, and we'll save it as a user block. And it will, there it is, there's the user block. Then we'll go to page 2, or page 3, or whatever it is. This should be called testimonials anyway. So let's go here, and let's go here, and let's make this say testimonials. Okay, and then let's put it here too, testimonials. Now, because HTML code editor is here, we have more things that we can do, and we can make this HTML or PHP by typing it. In the free version, without the code editor, you can't do that. It's limited. So now what we're going to do is we'll click here. Here's About Us. It should say About Us. And then we'll click on services, and this should say services. And then we can go back to home. We can look. We can go back to page testimonials. Doesn't really matter what we name these things because, you know, it's just a name. The actual code is here. What we're actually calling it in the code, we're calling it this. That's important. Okay. Here's your page description. Here's your testimonials, title name, so forth. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come here. We're going to click on this plus over here. Come down just a little bit. Click on this plus, and we're going to add this one. So we saved this from, oh, come on. Here it is. Is it going to let me bring it in? It's not going to let me bring it in. Look at that. That's interesting. So what happened? So if we come over here, go to pages. If we get rid of this page, if we clone this page, clone it, and then make this, we'll call it home 2. Okay, and we go to this page. Here's home 2, and it copied home 1, and we have the title. So is there something going on with this situation where by creating new pages in ColorM on version 4, it doesn't allow us to use user-defined blocks? Clicking on it, clicking on it, clicking on it, dragging it. Interesting. So let's go back to pages. Let's get rid of testimonials. Let's get rid of pages. Come on, let's go to pages. Hello. And let's go to About Us, and let's get rid of that. Yes. Then let's go to pages. Let's go to services, and let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Yes. Now let's go to pages, and we'll make this one say About Us. And then we'll come down here and make it say About Us. And then what we'll do is we'll clone another one, and this will be testimonials. And then we'll come in here and we'll make this say testimonials. We'll come here and we'll have this say testimonials. And of course we can add in other things, but we're not right now. We're going to go back to home. We're going to clone one more, and we're going to have this say contact page. Contact us, and it changed to there, and then we come down here and we have to change this contact us. Here's a little bonus. If you decide to use a hyphen, yes, you could use a hyphen. Okay, Google doesn't mind hyphens, but Google does not like underscores, so never use underscores. Google will see that as contact us, that's fine, but now you have to remember that, so you might put it in your notes. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to contact us. We're going to come over here. We're going to come here. We're on the contact page, contact us. We're going to come here, and first we're going to get rid of this. We want to get rid of that block. And all I have now is the menu and the footer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, and I'm going to go to theme, and I'm going to come down to a contact page. Where is the contact page? Here's a contact page. There it is. Now some people like to drag it in, and some people like to click on it. It's up to you. Whatever works. Okay, so we have 3 contact pages, which is kind of ridiculous, but we'll get rid of one. Click on the can. Goodbye. And everything's purple on our site, so let's get rid of this one too. All right. So there we go. And now this is, we're going to go back to pages, and we're going to go to head home. And I think we can do this on any page. We're going to verify that we're on home, and we're going to change this to R2, because now this is version 2. Most of the time when I put my version, I don't put it there. I'll put like down here, I'll put R2. So if you look at any of my pages for any of my clients or even me, you'll see an R number. And I have websites that, like portal pages, that go up to like R600, R370, or 612. I mean, it's just been revised so many times over the years, over the months. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to pages. We're going to go to, we did contact page. So there's a contact page. And it's a little slow, I don't know why. There it is. Now we're going to go to pages, and we're going to go to testimonials page. So we click here, it says testimonials. And of course, I think we're going to get rid of that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look for testimonials. And I think in ColorM, I think there's some testimonials. Let's put this here, just drag and drop, and then let's come here and let's go in and let's make the top padding big enough to be able to see what's going on, and then we'll just take this and we'll just have it say test what. Okay, and then I don't want to see that there, so I'll go here and I'll turn off the subtitle. And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to make the background this color. Okay, because I like purple. And then I'm going to come here, and I don't know if you can tell, but in here, there's no font color, because if you come here, you click on this, and we'll pick the font color here. And you can come here and do more. And if you know the actual letters and numbers, you can put them in there. Okay, so let's go to page, and let's go to About Us. And you see this little favicon right here? Of course, we're going to change that, but that's the default favicon for Mobirise 3. And Mobirise 4, it's red and it's more outlined, more modernistic. That's okay. So we're in About Us, and what we're going to do here is I want to get rid of, I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to put, we'll put this here. Let's see. And then we'll come down and let's see. Oops. Let's put some stuff about us here. Let's put this in here. And then we'll put a slider. There's a slider. And then that's a wow slider. And we'll put a counter in here. Drag it over. And we'll put in, I don't know what this is. That looks pretty cool though. Oh, it has all different ones. Different kinds of progress bars. That's so cool. Now, some people suggest that we could take this from version 3, ColorM. We could save this as a user, right? Save it as a user. And then go to a new version for a different site and import it from the user block. For example, if I come here and I save this to the user block after I edit this, right? Then it comes down. If I go over here now and I go to a different page, then I can come to testimonials. And because I maybe edited it or something like that, I could bring it over and I could put it in. I think we need some testimonials here. So let's see, is there a test? Let's go to blocks, theme blocks, and let's see if there's something where it says, what do the customers say? Articles, and wow sliders, progress bars, and pricing tables, and team. There's our team, tabs, testimonials, and we could have more testimonials. Okay, we could have accordions. Go back to pages and go to contact us. Maybe we come down here and we say, be nice to have a map where we are. Of course, we could add a map if we wanted to. And then, of course, this is defaulted to something Mobirise put in. All we'd have to do is come here and then just put this in here. Hello. Let's see if I remember that right. Yeah, there it is. So there is a location of my summer camp called Space Voyage. So that's cool. Okay, what are we going to do now? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to sites, and we're going to look here. and we can see that the site name is this. The site name is this. And we're going to make sure resize is off. We can look at the history file. You can see this is from yesterday, or this is from today. It's the 16th. I think in my notes I have the 17th, but it's the 16th. And it says 11:06, and then it says 11:19. And that's 13 minutes apart. I think it's automatically saves some kind of a history thing every so many minutes, but I don't have the history files from the original because I exported it, and that's on the other computer under user slash computer name slash bunch of stuff. We don't generally deal with that unless there's a problem. Okay, so make sure that's off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come here, and obviously we would edit all kinds of things in here. We would change this. We would change all the links. If we go to, I don't want to do that. If we go to preview, if we click on preview, it will build a preview. It will show us what it could look like. That's cool. And then when we preview it, we can see if it opens the page. I have too many tabs open on this computer, so it's taking too long. Okay, so after clicking on preview, this is the preview page, and look at, we have some motion in the background. Here's our map, right? And when we look down here, we can see down here what the link is when we hover. So if I hover here, it says Mobirise. If I hover here, it says Mobirise. If I go across to here, it says Mobirise. I haven't edited these. I got to change these. You should all be changed because we don't want things going to Mobirise. We want them going to us. So we need to change it all around. There's lots of links. And if we don't get all the links, like we didn't get this link, for example, if we didn't get this link, we can use MobiClean Pro to actually replace that Mobirise.com with our site name. It will do it for us. So for the ones that we overlook, and there are literally hundreds of links. You have to think of all of the themes as kind of like a house that's for sale, where somebody has staged the house, meaning they put furniture in the house to make the furniture in the house, make it look like you want to buy it and you could live there. You go look at a house and it's empty. It's hard to imagine that you're going to live there. So likewise here, if you were to just go out and buy yourself Bootstrap Studio, which is you could get today for $60, it's awesome, but it's a blank page. This is already populated with all kinds of things. You drag and drop and you put it in there. But the problem with it is, if I go to change this link here, I click on, well, this is, yeah. See, it went there. I don't want to do that. I want it to go to us. So what I want to do is, if I click here, and I click on link, here's an example, Mobirise, and here's the pre-populated, and we want that to be our site. That's really important. But we didn't do it for here because the purpose of this site is just a test. Can we use ColorM? So let's see if we can. Let's see if it will work. So let's publish it. Now remember that I already published this once, so I'm going to publish it again. Now we're going to go. This is my workhorse, so there's a lot of external drives you can see. If I click on computer here, you can just see it's just ridiculous. You know how many terabytes of data. It's just like 20-something terabytes of data, but it's all on this drive here. It takes me about 7 months to fill 5 terabytes up. Okay, so what we're going to do is this is the folder, and here it is, and here it is here, and this is what we unzipped, and here's R1 raw, R1 exported, R1 clean. We can't use those because this is not R1, this is R2. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call it R2 raw, and we're going to put V4, and then we're going to put ColorM because it won't hurt to remember what we're doing. And we can even put voy01 to know it's the user, voy01. That's fine. We're going to use O2. We're also going to create a folder that's called R2 clean, and we're going to use MobiClean cleaned with MobiClean version 6.0.24, the most current version. Okay, and then we're going to do, the last one is we're going to do R2 exported. Okay, and I'm going to put the date. i5, and it's on L. It's on L. It's on L computer. Okay, so we are publishing it, right? Even though we created all those, we're going to publish it to R2 raw. It's very important that your protocol, you don't get all screwed up and try to put it back here. If you put it back here, it's going to try to write over the files. Okay, and if you know anything about how hard drives work, then you know when you write over a file, there is a small chance that the space that you're writing over the top of will be corrupted because it's been written on too many times, or it's defective, or whatever. So we write in a fresh space. Here it is. We're going to write here. We're going to select it. We're going to make sure that this is turned off, and then we're going to publish it. Now, I always use the same protocol. I make it a habit to use the same protocol every time. So if I'm doing a Word document, it's, I use a different name of the file every time I save it, so I don't corrupt the file, because if it gets corrupted, you've lost all that work. Okay, so here is where it was published, and now it's giving us a location of kind of a preview. And if we highlight it, we can see down here in the corner, we can kind of, it's kind of a nice way to see, do we have the right links? We don't care though. So let's go back, show you two other things before we go. One thing I want to show you was here. If we go click twice, and I only need to click once, if I go here to L and I go to this folder, and then a little side trick too, if I click on this name and then click somewhere else, allow a second between clicks, it will highlight the whole thing. Then I can come in here and I can actually change the name of it. I could take that exclamation point out. Now look here, when I rename it, see it's in the middle, it's kind of hard to find. So while I'm working on it, what I'll do is I'll put like one exclamation point to move it to the top. So when I rename or relist, there it is. Here it is. Okay, and so when we look in here, we're looking at R2 and we're looking at raw. And there it is. So we have about us, contact us. We changed the way we use it. You should do it however you want, but however you make websites, you should use the same protocol. Do you like to put the words together? If you do, yes. If you like to use a hyphen, but never an underscore, you can do that. You should never use capital words. You should never use capital letters because it's case sensitive. Here's our project file. Now, if I was to go save it, okay, the project file was 68K here. See that, 68K. If I come back here and look at R1 raw, that was R2, R1 raw. Look at this. Here's the project file, and it's 14K. What I'm suggesting to you is that if we were to work on this, and then say, oh, let's just save it as R1 without a version number, good chance this is going to be a corrupted file. Good chance. And how do you recover it? You don't. You just complain, and a lot of crying. There's a lot of, it's a lesson learned. Lessons are expensive, and big lessons are very expensive. So here's what you do. You're working on Mobirise. You're working on a project. It's all in here. We go here and we can see this is the project. We go in. This is the first version. This is the second version. You could have 10 versions. If for some reason this was to become corrupted, then what are you going to do? Well, what you're going to do is you could say, I'm just going to import this. Just treat it as if it's an import. That's not the best way to do it, though. The best way to do it is to come here and, oh, we didn't export yet. So let's say we're going to close out our session. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come up. This is a preview. We're going to close this. We're going to go to sites. Before you close your session, okay, all of this junk, this is all junk. This should all be deleted. It should all be deleted. I can't even open this one. I'll show you in a minute. But this should be gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this. And what we're going to do is we're going to export it. And then we're going to find out where we're keeping ourselves organized. And you can write it down in your notes where you're keeping this junk. And so we're here, we're in here, and we're in to exported. We're in here. So we're selecting this. I can come up here and I can right click on it and copy the address as text. I could come over to my Word document and I could say, well, I think I'll just put that here. Control V. And there it is. It's right there. See how I did that? So going back to Mobirise, what I did was I said, I'm going to export the site, and I'm going to put it in, not there. I'm going to put it where I want to put it, not where the computer tells me. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go to in here. This is where I extracted it. I'm going to go to R2, exported, and I'm going to select it. Once you click on this, don't touch anything else because it's working. And if you turn off the computer or unplug it, you're going to have a problem. Don't do that. Just click it with volition one time with the left mouse button and wait for it. Now it's thinking. Now it's exporting, and now it's working. Any clicks, you could sometimes, really get things confused. Now it says your site was exported to folder L, blah, 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 blah. Can I grab this? No. This is like a photo. I cannot left mouse and drag across it. It should be nice, because then I would save it. I could do a screen grab if I wanted to, though. So click OK. Now we're going to close this. Now we're going to delete this. We're going to delete this one. This is a test site. We just did all this work. We're going to clear this desktop here, this user interface. We're going to get rid of this. Dump it. Because we exported it and we published it, and we didn't get an error upon either one, so we know it's good. Now it's refreshing its history. And now we're going to go back, and just to show you how things can go wrong if you don't have the right protocol, if I come here and I click on this, do you want to close the current site and open embed timer agency? This is a timeline builder. Yes. See this? It says this site uses the theme that's called undefined. That isn't available. There isn't a theme called unavailable. Okay? Come over here to themes and extensions. There's no theme called unavailable, which basically means something's corrupted. Something happened. I have no idea. And it doesn't really matter in as much as it was only kind of fiddling around with it. But if it was really important, what I'd want to do is I would want to use my folder and file protocol. I would want to publish it, make sure there's no errors, and then I would want to export it, making sure that things are set up. And I would want to export it, and if it says it exported it successfully, then you can be confident. You can export it several times. We can export it to, if we wanted to export it to, we could export it to this 5 terabyte. We could export it to this 5 terabyte, this 4 terabyte, any number of things. You don't have to just export it once. You could take the exported files and upload them to your Dropbox account. So when you look into that exported folder and you said, hey doc, I'm having problems with this site, I don't know what's going on with it, then you could say, well, let me see the folders that's been exported. Here's R2 exported. And all you would do is put into a Dropbox folder these files. And there's not even that many files and assets. I mean, that's just that. There's not that much compared to the other one where you have all the files. So if you look here under R2 raw, and you look here, you have all the HTML, and then you have under assets, you have all of the JavaScript library, the whole thing. And that's one of the things about this site builder is when we talk about this block and this theme, or whatever block or theme we're talking about, what Mobirise does is when it builds a library of JavaScript, it puts all of it there. And that is a waste of disk space on your hard drive, because when we right click on assets and we go to properties, it will tell us that the asset folder has 37 subfolders with 67 files. That's taking 6 megabytes. And we may not even be using any of these. We may not even use this or use that or use that, but it puts in every single site builder output, when you publish it, it puts the entire library. And these, say we go and look in here, this JavaScript is not minimized. And they would do well to minimize the CSS and the JavaScript. That's another little treat for you. Okay, so let's go back to our notes and see if we did everything we were supposed to do. So here's our notes. So we said, okay, so we were going to start here and say we're going to do this. And then here's the question. And then we said, okay, we did all these things, created a new site, folders. So you understand my folder protocol. You have to follow folder protocol. If you don't follow protocol, this is the end of this video. And I hope that it helped you. And I hope that you learned something about how these are all the things that we did. Remember that why do things go wrong sometimes? One, you're writing over files. You should never write over files. Use a revision so you're not, having issues with corrupting your hard drive. Two, use proper naming. Use proper protocol for your file and folder and things. So you have a new site, you name a new site in a new folder, and then you use revisions. And finally, you stay organized, you create good habits, follow your protocols, that's what will keep you safe, and create and save your notes, which is what I channel. Go ahead and, what do they call it, where you have people send you notices all the time? Subscribe. And then whenever I put up a new video, you'll get it. So we originally called it Dumb Mobirise Questions, mostly because it's easy to remember, but really this is about dumb and not so dumb Mobirise questions. Hope I helped you. Have a good one. Bye.